Welcome back to Out of the Blue. We're now going to turn our attention to the arts, specifically to dance. Over the years, Peter Sparling has performed with the world-renowned companies of Jose Limon and Martha Graham, among others. Now the University of Michigan's Thurnau Professor of Dance, his choreography incorporates music, poetry, and video imagery for performances famous for their intensity, depth, and beauty. His latest work, Climbing St. Victoire, is based on the life and vision of painter Paul Cézanne. Nick Tong had an opportunity to talk with Peter on the same stage where he performed and recorded his most recent work about the life and times of Cézanne. Nick?
Thank you, Jennifer. It's great to have the opportunity to talk with you today, Peter. Now, for those people at home that aren't familiar with the life or the work of Paul Cézanne, can you tell us a little bit about him and the title of the piece?
Yes. One might wonder why, as a choreographer, I'm so fascinated by a painter. Dance is an extremely visual art in that within the frame of the proscenium on stage or watching TV, watching dancers on TV, you're aware of the composition in space of bodies within that frame. So I relate so much to the way Cézanne was able to translate landscape, translate the human figure onto the flatness of the canvas. Climbing Saint Victoire refers to the mountain in the south of France, in Aix-en-Provence, Mont Saint Victoire. Cézanne was born in Aix. Well, I see Cézanne as being at the very hinge of this effort in modern painting. He figured out how to apply paint to the canvas to depict the phenomenon of the eye registering depth, shape, etc. In doing so, he had a profound influence on Picasso, on Cubism, on the abstract expressionists in America. So as a dancer, kind of stepping into the skin of Cézanne, I have to think, well, okay, what was his age? What was his costume? What was his posture? How did he walk? My task is to create a body language that indicates thought or that generates thought. What you see in this television production is my attempt to pay homage to this great painter.
One of the things that's really unique about your work is the fact that you're able to use multimedia in the dance. Can you talk about how you're able to put that all together and what inspired you to do that?
I became frustrated with the limitations of live theater, and when I was introduced to the medium of video and realized what could be done with a human figure on a screen and in editing, a whole new world opened up to me. So what Climbing Saint Victoire allows me to do as a product for television is to integrate live performance with images that I can superimpose. It gives me many more layers of cross-referencing.
Working at the University of Michigan, what has that allowed you, just having all the resources that it offers?
I'd had an amazing career dancing with professional companies in New York. I'd had my own company. I lived and worked in London for a year. But at that point in my life, I needed space and I needed consistency. And a university was one of the few options I had to be able to have that. Our university, University of Michigan, and countless others across the country have deemed dance to be an essential part of their mission, such that we have excellent dance departments. Students come to learn choreography, performance, technique, dance history, art history, music history, production, along with all of their academics.
I understand you went to Interlochen on a scholarship for violin performance.
Right.
And so you were double majoring with violin and dance, is that correct?
I was tested for my musical ability in the Detroit Public School that I attended, and was told that I had an excellent ear and that I would probably make a good violinist. So for the next 9 years, I was pretty serious about it, and it got me to Interlochen, to the National Music Camp, and then to the Interlochen Arts Academy. By my senior year at Interlochen, I had switched to dance, and my father was somewhat dismayed at this until he learned that I could get a bigger scholarship as a dancer, because they were desperate for male dancers. that led me to audition at Juilliard. I went to Juilliard School in New York City then, '69, and was very fortunate to work with some of the masters of dance, Ana Sokolow, Jose Limon, Martha Graham's first generation, second generation of dancers. Martha Graham in dance is compared to Stravinsky in music, Einstein in physics, to the great playwrights, American playwrights, Eugene O'Neill, Arthur Miller. She created a body of dance work that was so potent, that had such an integrity, that was so striking and original in its time, that I knew when I had the opportunity to work with her that this is something I had to do in my lifetime. So I had the opportunity to work very closely with her on works that she had created in the 40s, 50s, 60s, up to the 70s, but also in new works that she was creating on me. So by putting the violin down and just being out there in space dancing to the music, it was the most natural thing for me.